you heard of Telegram? Yeah. Why? Well, someone just invited me to join Telegram, and I've already got WhatsApp. I've got Signal. I mean, I'm already struggling which one to use, and then now Telegram? Which one are you using anyway? I use the Gaps. Gaps? What is that? Don't tell me that's another messaging app? No, check the gaps. Oh, check the gaps. What is Gap? Hello guys, this is May and welcome to my channel, The Wandering Boss. I help people navigate in mastering the data, the new lifeline, where I share videos about life hacks, especially in data privacy, staying safe online, and keeping your digital footprint in control. In today's video, I will be sharing to you how to pick the right messaging app according to your needs, and I will be giving you 5 criteria so that you can easily navigate which one is the right one for you. You might wonder, why is it there's only 3 messaging app, May? Well, the fact of the matter is Signal, Telegram, and WhatsApp are the mostly used messaging app to date and is actually quite famous. When picking a messaging app, I would like you to remember this acronym, GAPS. The G on your GAPS is group messaging and group call. Now, you don't want your messaging app to limit you to only speak to one person at a time. You want to think of group messaging or group video call or group voice call. When it comes to group messaging, Telegram, WhatsApp, and Signal do offer this functionality. However, it is worth noting as well that Signal unfortunately does not offer a group video call or group voice call, so that is something that you wanna consider if that is a priority to you. In this criteria, Telegram do offer a unique functionality that is called channel, where if you have followers, you can broadcast messages to your followers through a public channel. But there is also what you call private channel, where it is by invitation only. The next criteria, the A on your gaps, is auto-delete, or commonly known as self-destruct message or delete messages. So, May, why is this very important? I mean, why would I consider that? Well, think about it. If you have a messaging app that allows you to auto-delete your messages at a certain point of time, like 1 week, 6 hours, an hour, or 30 minutes after you had a conversation, then it means that it is less of a worry about your data retention, and it also means that you are indeed taking control of your digital footprint. So that is one thing you need to consider. Now, when it comes to group messages, Telegram, Signal, and WhatsApp do offer an auto-delete. However, it is worth noting that when it comes to one-to-one conversation, WhatsApp unfortunately is far behind in this functionality. It means that this is not yet available for WhatsApp. This is still under development and no release date yet as of now. So, the third criteria on your gaps is the P, which is private. So, you want to make sure that the message that you intend to send it to is only known to the person that you want to send it to, and you don't want the other people knows what exactly are you doing, who you're talking to in your message That's why privacy or private is important in picking the right messaging app for you. Now, when it comes to privacy, there are two sections under this one, and one is data sharing and number two is metadata. Let's break that down. When it comes to data sharing, we're talking here about, is my data being shared to third party, the likes of government or intelligence agency or parent company or sister company? When it comes to Signal and Telegram, these messaging apps do not share your data to third-party companies. Well, WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, and if you still trust the company after the 2018 incident of the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where there are over 50 million Facebook users whose data were being harvested by a third-party company called Cambridge Analytica. Now, not only just that, WhatsApp has been known to be sharing your data when it comes to court investigation. Now, if this is something you are comfortable with, then there's nothing to worry about. Now, the next section that I would like to discuss within privacy criteria is what you call metadata. Now, before we can describe what metadata is, let's describe what is actually data. Well, in this context of your messaging app, let's just say I will write, "Hi Bob, how you doing?" That is my message, that is the content of my message, and that in itself is what you call data. Now, the metadata comes in. The meta means the description, so it's a description of your data. Now, the metadata refers to your phone number, your IP address, your location, who you talk to, for how long you've been talking to that person, at what time you've been talking to that person. So those are your metadata. Signal only collect your phone number. However, even though if they do, they are actually in hash, meaning it is saved on the server in a random character and digit. Now, Telegram, in their privacy policy, they did mention that they may collect your metadata. However, when it comes to WhatsApp, checking their privacy policy, they did mention that they share your metadata to their parent company, Facebook itself. So if you are okay with this, then privacy should not be an issue for you. Just a quick break. I just want to thank my sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN protects the data that your devices send to the internet, and it is the largest VPN globally, and it is also trusted by independent security experts like PCMag, Best VPN, Tech Advisor, and VPN Mentor. And NordVPN has no log policy and has a military grade encryption, and it's amazing to know that with NordVPN you get what you pay for. It's great to know that your data are not being collected nor being sold elsewhere. Even better, it has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you haven't already, please do go ahead and check their website on the description below. But if you don't know what VPN, and if that is too much of a jargon, then you may want to check my video about why VPN and HTTPS versus VPN. The fourth criteria on your gaps, the S, is secure. You want to make sure that the message that you sent is actually safe from unauthorized access. Under the secure criteria, there are two key things that I would like to mention. One is encryption, whether my data is encrypted at rest or is my data encrypted on transit. And number two is is it open source? I know there's a lot of jargon in there, so let me go ahead and break that down for you. So when it comes to data encryption on transit, there is what you call end-to-end encryption. Now, think about for a moment, I have here my device and I want to send this to Bob. The moment I compose my message, and as it travels and it arrives to Bob's device, it only means that only Bob's device has the authority and has the key to be able to unlock my message. Not even Signal, WhatsApp, or Telegram themselves will be able to see the content of my message. Now that is what you called end-to-end encryption. Now, I want to highlight that when it comes to the end-to-end encryption, Signal and WhatsApp do use the same protocol, which is called Signal Protocol. Now, what is a protocol? Alright, protocol is basically a pre-existing agreement between devices prior to communicating with each other. Now, a perfect analogy of that is, think about of your water. I have a 5-gallon water here and I want to send it to your house in here through a water pipe. Now, in order for you to receive my water, the 5-gallon water, you need to have 5-gallon container as well. The 5-gallon container is what you call your protocol. So Signal Protocol is very popular today. It is considered to be the most secure protocol when it comes to messaging app, and it's highly recommended in the security community. However, Telegram is not using the same protocol as Signal and WhatsApp, and by default the end-to-end encryption is not enabled, and you have to go on your way to check on the security settings to make sure that this is enabled. However, according to the MIT cybersecurity specialist, even so this is enabled, this particular encryption is also flawed. It has been identified that there is a vulnerability on the protocol that they've used, and according to this specialist, that they were able to snoop on their friends' messaging. At the same time, they know who they were talking and for how long. Now, when it comes to your encryption whilst your data is at rest, what that basically means is if my data are encrypted whilst on storage. Now, there are two places we can save your data. One is on premise, meaning your local device on your local machine, and two is on the cloud. Now, when it comes to Signal, Signal does not allow on the cloud backup. It's only stored within your device and is encrypted. However, Telegram and WhatsApp do offer on the cloud storage. However, it is worth noting that the moment you store your messages on the cloud for both application, it will no longer be encrypted. So that negates the purpose of having a secure messaging app if the moment you store it on the cloud, it's no longer encrypted. And it also means that the cloud services will be able to see your messages. It is worth noting when it comes to WhatsApp, the organization called EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, it's a non-profit organization and they do champion on data privacy. They actually discourage people to back up their data on the cloud using WhatsApp application. Now, I encourage you to make your own research, and if you don't need to back up your data on the cloud using WhatsApp, then I would recommend not to do it. The other good thing about end-to-end encryption is what you call the key notification functionality. Now, what that means is the whole point of having a secure communication like end-to-end encryption is you know the identity of the person on the other side. That's the reason why you have both the same public key, and you know that you both share this key together. And the only way to identify whether that is the right person that you're talking to, if you have both of your phone and you go to your settings and verify your encryption, it should be exactly the same. Normally it's a 60-digit character long, and that's one way of identifying that you know the person that you're talking to on the other side. Now, what does the key notification functionality do is it will notify me as the user that, hey, Bob has changed his encryption key. Would you like to make sure that he is the person still that you're talking to? Now, when is this likely to happen? Well, if someone get hold of your mobile device, if someone uninstall their messaging app, you want to make sure that they are who they actually claiming to be. Now, Signal do have this functionality and it's enabled by default. However, I cannot find any information when it comes to Telegram, and please drop me a comment below if I missed anything, because I did check in their website. I am interested to know where to find that. When it comes to WhatsApp, this functionality is actually not enabled by default, so you may want to go to the security settings and make sure that that is enabled. However, it is worth noting that when it comes to WhatsApp, even though this functionality is enabled, you will only get the key notification changes after you send that message to that person. Well, that obviously negates the purpose of it. The whole point of having the key notification is you are being informed prior to sending that message to someone, so that you don't obviously send it to the wrong person. But when it comes to WhatsApp, you only get notified of the key changes after you've already sent that message. And security is not your priority, then that should not be a problem. Let's move on to open source, still under the security criteria or secure criteria. Now, what exactly is open source, May, and why do I have to care about it? Well, when it comes to open source in the technical community, what that means is the code that actually implement and the code that creates your software application is open for public scrutiny to the world at large. Now, why is that an advantage? Isn't that a disadvantage? Where it's actually quite the opposite. It is a very advantage to have your code open to public, because it means that everyone can see what's going on that code in that particular software. If there are any malicious code in there, it is highly likely that it will be spotted straight away. Especially every specialist in the world has access to this particular code, and they will make sure that this is rectified there and then. Now, that's the beauty of having an open source community. When it comes to Signal is pretty much open source, and that is one of the reasons why it is highly recommended by the cybersecurity community, especially the likes of Edward Snowden. Now, if you haven't heard, he is the one who disclosed those countries who are actually watching on their people, or what we commonly know it right now as mass surveillance. Now, when it comes to Telegram, well, Telegram is partly open source. Now, when I say partly, because the API and the client service is the only one that is open source. Now, May, what is an API? Well, if you want Telegram to be able to talk to Facebook application as an example, then you need an API so that both can talk to each other. That is what you call application program interface. Now that portion there, the API in itself, is actually open source, and the rest of it, it's basically proprietary. Now WhatsApp, well, WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, and like I mentioned in the previous section in privacy, if you trust Facebook up till now after the Cambridge Analytica incidents, then that should not be a problem for you. Okay, the last but not the least, the S on your gaps, the last S on your gaps is sexy. Yes, I know. Well, I know there's a lot of people who would like to know the look and feel of their messaging apps. If it is sexy, will I be able to customize my theme? Will I have a varied emoticons? Well, when it comes to this functionality, Signal is a little bit far behind. You have to consider that the priority function of Signal is security and privacy, and not so much on the feature. But not all gloomy as well when it comes to the sexiness of Signal, because they do have the emoticons as well. It's just you cannot customize the wallpaper on your group chat theme or on your channel, the likes of Telegram and WhatsApp. Now you have to consider that both Telegram and WhatsApp are actually messaging app prior to becoming a security conscious application. Those are the 5 criteria that you need to consider when it comes to picking your right messaging app. Now, to sum it up for you, if your criteria prioritize on privacy and security and not so much on the sexiness of your messaging app, then you may want to opt to use Signal. If your priority is sexiness and you don't care so much about your privacy, you don't care if your data are being shared to third-party company, then you may want to opt to use WhatsApp. But if your priority is sexiness and you don't care about your privacy and your security, then you may wanna opt to use Telegram. So that's it from me, guys. I do hope you find this video helpful, and I'll be very keen to know what messaging app you use in your mobile device right now, and just drop me a note below. And if you find this video helpful, please share this video so that we can help people picking the right messaging app according to their needs. Until next time, please stay safe, keep the social distancing, spread the love and positivity. Namaste.